Hi, Coach. As you went back and watched the film from the season opener, what were your big takeaways from what your team accomplished?
First and foremost, generate turnovers, score off our defense. We had 13 in the first half. For us, it's generating. We want to turn our opponents over, specifically live ball turnovers. We want to be great at turning those turnovers into points. That was something that was really a positive. Sharing the basketball offensively. I think anytime you have 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio as a team, that's very impressive. Certainly, to get a lot of assists, it usually comes down to making 3-point shots or getting out in transition, and both of those things happened for us. So I thought that was another really good positive for us. When you look at Milan obviously has a tremendous game. Taman individually played terrific. But for our group, we're going to put 10 guys in the game, right? 10 guys are going to go in the game and have the ability to come in and impact winning right away. And so as I watch the game, I'm watching opportunities for everybody to do that. And I'm very aware of when guys are doing that to grant them more opportunities in that game. So those are some things that I took away, from the game.
This season, there's a number of rule changes, continuation, coaches' challenges. I know that you haven't had an opportunity to do the challenge system yet. How do you go about preparing for that, or understanding when to use those type of things?
Yeah, as far as the challenge goes, it would be something that philosophically we'd likely wait till towards the end of the game. Obviously, it has to be a specific play. I think sometimes people think you can just challenge anything, and that's not the case. So my guess would be is we would tend to hold it till late in the game, and whether it's a goaltend, an out-of-bounds call, something late in the game that one play could be extremely impactful. So doesn't mean we wouldn't use it sooner. It just means that would be our mindset going into the game.
Hi, TJ.
Hi, Rob.
Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you. What do you envision Blake's role becoming? Because we saw glimpses of the above-the-rim play with the alley-oop dunk, a couple rebounds, his activity level, all that. But you talked about what your plan was for him initially. Is that kind of the same, or how do you see him developing going forward?
Blake's going to be much more impactful than what he's been up to this point. I think from an offensive standpoint, he can help us really run great offense. He's a very good passer. He's fast in space. He's a lob threat. He came out right away and had offensive rebounds. And so I think it's important that, we continue to give him those opportunities because I have confidence in him to do that part. And I know that he'll produce at a much higher level than what we've seen up to this point. On the defensive end, he's proven to be elite. For us, we want him to be out in front of plays, specifically in pick and roll and when he's defending on the basketball, because we feel like he's picked up some fouls when he hasn't been quite as aggressive as what we would like. Usually in most cases, when he's ahead of the play and extremely aggressive, his speed sets in and it wreaks havoc, and he can help us generate turnovers. So I didn't come into the opening night saying, hey, we're going to play him whatever he did 15 minutes. I'd love to see his minutes get up into the mid-20s. Part of that's going to be putting him in great position, and then him staying out of those foul situations because he's being the aggressor. But I think I feel confident he'll produce a lot more than what we've seen to this point. I have tremendous confidence in him, and I'm excited for him to get in a rhythm out there and stack up some minutes and plays that he can feel great about and will feel great about.
I was going to ask about the fouls because it's interesting because when I think about them now, it does look like a reaction situation, right? He's on his heels, and that's when it happens. And is that what you're talking about is just making sure he's, I guess, in a proactive situation in his stance and all that?
Yeah, because for us, like pick and roll coverage, we want to be at that level of the screen. So if you're there early, right, then you're in front of the play, and now the offensive player is going to have to make some decisions. When you're late to the play, now you're kind of on your heels, right? And you're not the one stepping into that aggressive mentality. We want to throw the first punch on every scenario of what we do. And so the fouls have come as a result of just being, not quite out in front of the play or not quite as aggressive as what we would like for him to be. And, I think he understands that, and he's watched the film and he's committed to it. And so I think it's just be early, throw the first punch, be aggressive, and we'll live with the outcome from there because he has tremendous instincts, feet, ability to change speeds. His quickness is great, and we need to do a better job of incorporating him for sure.
You mentioned, excuse me, the other day that Nate was your guys' defensive captain. Have you guys ever had that as a formalized role before, and what made Nate the guy for it?
Yeah, we haven't had that before. Felt like, Nate takes such a tremendous sense of pride on the defensive end and us getting stops and his competitive spirit, and felt like, we were at a point as a program where it would be more beneficial to have a guy like Nate included in that plan on the front end, help us to install that plan, increase the buy-in even from his end of it, and then for him to be able to communicate that on the court when there's dead balls, free throw situations, all those opportunities. Now he's that much more invested in that plan and making that plan work. And I know that Nate's somebody that's very headstrong and, competitive. So then him putting that to play is really important. So hadn't done it before, but I think Nate really, really cares about us getting stops. So I thought it was appropriate that we make that, distinction.
What kind of vote of confidence should he take that in where you're bestowing that on him on a team where the program's all-time steals leader is also going to be on the floor?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Nate's, I think the job that they do defensively is they're both so good, but they're so different, right? And I think with Nate, he's trying to put the whole thing together, right? Taman makes elite IQ, effort, intensity plays, whether it's on the ball, steals off the ball, chasing down rebounds, where Nate's job ends up being a lot more of, make the whole group function a certain way. And so he should have a tremendous sense of confidence in putting that in his hands. We've had some really good defensive teams, players, schemes, and this is the first time we felt like, you know what, we need to take this a step further, and we need to include him on how we build our plan and how we install our plan and then how we uphold it during the game. And been pleased with his communication in those huddles, empowering him to be very vocal in those huddles and in-game situations to get the results we want.
With Milan, obviously this offseason, a big point of emphasis for him was becoming more of a hunter and being aggressive and getting a shot. What is the key to getting someone like that to maybe shed past quote-unquote percentage protector tendencies and get over those mental hurdles?
Yeah, there's a lot that's involved there, certainly, because you have to want that responsibility, and with that responsibility is going to come, people at times are going to say, man, you didn't have a great shooting night. You were 2 for 10 or you were 3 for 10, those sort of things. And you have to do the work. You have to be mentally prepared for it, for the opportunity. You have to stay focused on it during the game. You can't be outcome-based. You have to be somebody that looks at it and says a great shot is a great shot, as opposed to I missed my last one and that affects the next one. You've got to hunt in all situations, specifically transition, offensive rebounds, when we get the ball in the paint, moving on penetration. So there's a lot that goes into it, but we have all the confidence in the world that he can do exactly what we saw him do the other night. We recruited him to do that job. He's built to do that job, and now as he enters his third year, that step in terms of responsibility is something that he wanted. So it doesn't make it easy, though, because it's what we need from him each night is like what I would love is 10 attempts, and I'd love an off-shooting night to be 3 for 10 and say, hey, I don't think there's any chance if he takes 10 that he's going to be any worse than 3 for 10 based on what I see every single day for him. So it really comes down to him hunting to just get great looks and placing the value in it. Was a great look. And you know what? Over time, what we see in practice every day and what we've seen over his time here is the numbers are going to come around his way.
You mentioned you feel like you have 10 guys that can make an impact at any moment. What are some of the challenges when it comes to managing a deep rotation like that, and how do you pick and choose certain situations when you go with certain guys over others?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily even call it a rotation at this point, because to me what we're going to do is get 10 guys in the game, and then we are going to, we're going to leverage the guys who are making their deal work. And you can make your deal work with tremendous energy, intent, communication, effort, sprinting the floor is one way to make it work. You could be production driven, which whether it's finish plays, make shots, get steals, get deflections. You can do it that way, or you can bring tremendous energy to the group. And I think even last game with Nate Heise, his numbers didn't jump off the page, but I thought he played really well. And so I think it's more of a situation right now where we're looking at it and saying, you have an opportunity to go in there and impact winning. And if you do that at a high level, we'll continue to give you more opportunities on the night of the game. So I think it's a great thing for our guys to know that they have those opportunities. And then it's the responsibility to make it work, to make your deal work, to make it go your way. And I think we've seen from certain guys, we saw Eric Mulder come in the Northwestern game, and right away make his deal work, gets a tip dunk. That same game, we saw Dominic Nelson come right in the game, get a steal, get a deflection, and go in transition. Those are the type of effort, intensity, make your deal work type of plays that we're looking for from our guys, especially when we go to the bench.